Good morning, guys. Well, I guess it might not be morning while you're watching this, I guess, but it is morning for me. It is 8 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. I'm wondering if some of you are even awake right now. Hopefully you are. Hopefully you're getting started on your day and you're having a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, or whatever day you're watching this. Okay, so we are working on lesson 20. It is session 5, so it's the last day of this lesson, and it is on page 435. So since it is the last session, it's just those 9 problems that you should be able to do independently, okay? Oh my goodness, sorry. Do you want to see one of my cats being silly? Hi, Cheese. Are you trying to do math? You're not very good at math. You're better at reading. Okay. Anyway, he's just going to be up here being a menace. So, you should be able to do all these problems at this point in the lesson without my help. So, if you would like to pause the video or watch it later on and finish all 9 problems, and then come back and check your answers and count your stars, that's what you would normally be doing in class. Geez, don't. He's trying to knock the phone off my little recording stand. You're being a bad cat. Go away. Anyway, so you should be able to do all these by yourself. Do it first, check your answers with this video, or if you need help with any of them, skip them, and then we'll do them together. But most of these you should be able to do by this point, like the 5th day, no problem, okay? So the example problem does not have a solution. You have to solve that one. So hopefully you did. If not, pause this first, catch up. So it says, Jessica hikes 2/5 of a mile on a trail before she stops to get a drink of water. After her drink, Jessica hikes another 2/5 of a mile. How far does Jessica hike in all? So they used a number line to show their work. So this is when she started, 0 miles. She hikes 2/5 of a mile, and then she takes a drink. And then she hikes another 2/5 of a mile and stops here. So what's her total amount? 4/5 of a mile. Because if you add them, 2/5 plus 2/5, remember when we add fractions, denominator stays the same, add the numerator. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4/5. So she hikes 4/5 of a mile. Okay, if you said 4/5, you get 1 star. Remember, we're counting stars. You want to get as many as you can. At the end, I'll total up how many you should have gotten, and we'll see how many you got correct. Okay. Number 1. Ruth makes 1 fruit smoothie. She drinks 1/3 of it. What fraction of the fruit smoothie is left? Show your work. Okay, so the whole fruit smoothie, 1 smoothie equals 3/3. Okay, so that's the smoothie, that's the whole smoothie when she starts. And then she drinks 1/3. So we're subtracting 1/3 from it. And what's left? Well, we know the denominator stays the same, and we just subtract the numerator. 3 minus 1 equals 2. So 2/3 of the smoothie is left. 2/3 of the smoothie is left. Okay, so if you showed your work, you could do an equation, number line, model, whatever you did to show your work is fine. You get a star for however you showed your work. And your answer in a sentence, you get another star. Okay, that one's just a pretty simple subtraction problem. As long as you figured out that, the 1 whole smoothie is 3/3. Because it can't really do 1 minus 1/3, right? That's confusing. I have to convert that 1 whole into 3/3 first. Then I can subtract because the denominators are the same. All right. Back page. Okay. Number 2. Mr. Chang has a bunch of balloons. 3/10 of the bunch is red, 2/10 of the bunch is blue. What fraction of the bunch is not red or blue? Geez, stop eating the plants. Stop. Gross. Jeez, honestly. Don't eat houseplants. Bad cat. Okay. Sorry guys, he's interrupting our math lesson. So he has a bunch of balloons. 2/3 is red, 3/10 is red, 2/10 is blue. So what fraction is a different color, not red or blue? Okay, so I could add the red and the blue together. So 3/10 of the bunch is red, 2/10 of the bunch is blue. If I add that together, I know that the red and blue balloons is 5/10 of it. Okay, so that's red and blue. So what fraction is not red or blue? So I'm going to take 10/10, that's the whole bunch, all the balloons total, minus 5/10, which is just the red and blue balloons, to figure out what's not red or blue. So denominator stays the same. 10 minus 5 equals 5. It's just the other half. So it looks like half was red and blue. The other half are different colors, not red or blue. So we'll say 5/10 of the balloons are not red or blue. Okay, so star for showing your work, star for your answer in a sentence. And then number 3. Zoom in a little bit. Okay, for number 3, it says, Emily eats 1/6 of a bag of carrots. Nick eats 2/6 of the same bag of carrots. What fraction of the bag of carrots do Emily and Nick eat all together? Okay, all together means we're adding. So she eats some of the carrots, he eats some of the carrots. What is their total that they ate? Okay, so Emily ate 1/6. Need to add that to how much Nick ate. That's 2/6. Denominator stays the same. Add the numerators. 1 plus 2 equals 3. Okay, 3/6 is C. So give yourself a star if you said C. It doesn't tell you to show your work, so no stars for showing your work. Some of you might have been able to do that in your head and just pick C without showing your work, so that's fine. But on the bottom it says, Rob chose D as the correct answer. How did he get that answer? So Rob chose 3/12. How do you think he did his math incorrectly to get 3/12? Okay, so I would say this was our equation, right? 1/6 plus 2/6. How did he get it to equal 3/12? We know that's not correct. It's 3/6. But if I'm looking at it, he added the numerators, but look, he also added the denominators. He didn't keep the denominator the same. He did 6 plus 6 equals 12, which you're not supposed to do. You keep the denominators the same. Okay, so we're gonna say Rob incorrectly added the denominators. Okay, so hopefully that one was pretty clear to see. Sometimes these ones where you're trying to figure out what they did wrong are really difficult to figure out because it's like, I don't know, I did it right. I don't understand why they got the wrong answer. But that one's pretty easy to see. He added the denominator. Shouldn't have done that. So give yourself a star if you figured out why Rob was incorrect. Pause it if you need to catch up on that explanation. And then we'll go over to 4. Ooh, yum. Chocolate cake. Okay. Number 4. Lynn buys some cloth. He uses 5/8 of a yard for a school project. He has 2/8 of a yard left. How much cloth does Lynn buy? So he just buys some. It doesn't tell us how much. We need to figure out how much he bought in the beginning. Before he used 5/8 and then 2/8 is left. Okay, so he has 2/8 cloth left, 2/8 of a yard. Okay, and if I add that to how much he already used for a school project, 5/8, I'll figure out the total amount of cloth he had when he started. So my denominators I keep the same, 1/8, and I add my numerators. 2 plus 5 equals 7. 7/8 of a yard is how much he bought. That would be C. So give yourself a star if you said C. It doesn't say to show your work, but if you did, give yourself just like an imaginary star, not a real star. Okay, number 5. Carmela cuts a cake into 12 equal-sized pieces. She eats 2/12 of the cake, and her brother eats 3/12 of the cake. What fraction of the cake is left? Okay, so she eats 2/12, her brother eats 3/12. But we don't want to know their total. It's not asking us how much did they eat together. It's saying how much of the cake is left over. Okay, so first I do need to figure out how much their total is, but I have to subtract that from the entire cake. Okay, so she ate 2/12, her brother ate 3/12. How much did they eat together? So my denominator stays the same, 12, and I add my numerators. 2 plus 3 equals 5. So together they ate 5/12, but that's not what it's asking me. I still have to do another part. This is a 2-part problem. What fraction of the cake is left? So the total, the entire cake, before they ate any, would be 12/12, right? One whole cake cut into 12 pieces. If I subtract what they ate, 5/12, my answer, my difference, will be what fraction of the cake is left. So my denominators stay the same, 12, and I subtract my numerators. 12 minus 5 equals 7. So 7/12 of the cake is left. That is C. Give yourself a star if you said C. Oh, I'm noticing a pattern. So far, all are multiple choice, like number 3, number 4, and number 5 are all C. Conspiracy. Conspiracy. Get it? Conspiracy. Oh, it's too early in the morning. Sorry. Okay. Number 6. Lee makes muffins. She uses 2/3 of a cup of milk and 1/3 of a cup of oil. How much more milk than oil does she use? Show your work. So it's asking how much bigger is this than this. So here's the 2/3 cup of milk, and if you subtract the 1/3 cup of oil, you're left with 1/3. Okay, so 2/3 minus 1/3. Am I off the screen? No. Okay. So you're subtracting the milk, or subtracting the oil from the milk, and you'll figure out the difference. We're just trying to figure out how much bigger is the cup of milk than the cup of than the amount of oil. Denominator stays the same. 2 minus 1 equals 1. That's what my number line shows also. So, I mean, they kind of showed the work already. It says show your work, but, I mean, they drew the arrow. They subtracted for us, really. But this is how you would show your work another way, or additionally, to kind of prove the answer. So, in a sentence, we'll say, Lee uses 1/3 of a cup more. I wonder if this is shaking really bad. Let me know. I got a new like stand thing for the phone when it records, but I feel like it's shaking whenever I try to write. Sorry. Lee uses 1/3 of a cup more milk than oil. Okay, star for your answer in a sentence. So there's 1 star over here for showing your work with the equation, 1 star for your sentence. Okay, and back page, and we're done. Okay, number 7. Lucy and Melody work together to paint 6/8 of a room. Which models could be used to show how much of the room each girl paints? Why would they only paint 6/8 of a room? Why wouldn't they paint the entire room? That's weird, right? Strange. Okay, so basically all we need to find is she paints some amount and Melody paints some amount, but together the total they paint is 6/8. So we need to figure out which equations and models show a total of 6/8. So something plus something equals 6/8. So let's check these models. There's how many equal pieces on this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, good. So the denominator's 8. And then Lucy can be this light blue color, so there's 2. And then Melody can be the dark blue, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 plus 4 is 6. So yeah, that one shows 6/8. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, my denominator's only 6. And they're all colored in, so that only shows 6/6. So B does not work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, denominator is 8. But there's 7 parts colored in. 1, 2, 3 for Lucy. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Melody. So that shows 7/8. So C does not work this time. Conspiracy theory debunked. Okay, 3/8 plus 3/8 equals 6/8. Well, my denominator stays the same. 3 plus 3 equals 6. So yeah, that shows 6/8 as my total, and that's correct. Okay, that means that Lucy and Melody both painted the same amount. They painted equal sized pieces of the room. And E, 6/8 equals 5/8 plus 1/8. Well, my denominator stayed the same. Is 1 plus 5, 6? Yep. And this one, I mean, they just painted different amounts. Lucy painted way more than Melody, but it still equals 6/8. So it was A, D, and E. So you get 3 stars if you found all 3 of the models and equations. Number 8. Cole and Max pick 9/10 of a bucket of blueberries in all. Cole picks 3/10 of a bucket of blueberries. What fraction of a bucket of blueberries does Max pick? Okay, so it's going to be Cole plus Max equals, how much did they get together? 9/10. 9/10 of the bucket. But we know that Cole picked 3/10 of the bucket. So Cole is 3/10. We don't know what Max is. So I could have just done M for Max as my variable, but oh well. And their total is 9/10. So 3/10 plus what is 9/10? I almost said the answer, oh my gosh. Okay, I could, fill in the blank, figure out what fits, or I could do 9/10 minus 3/10 to figure out Max's amount. Denominator stays the same, subtract your numerators. 9 minus 3 equals 6. So Max picked 6/10 of the bucket. Okay, 1 star for showing your work. You could have done a number line, bar model, equation, whatever you want. 1 star for your answer in a sentence. Okay, and then number 9 is the math journal part. So you're supposed to do the math and then describe different ways to show them, 2 different ways, okay? So Mrs. Jones cuts an apple into 8ths. So she cuts it into 8 equal-sized parts. She eats 3/8 of the apple and gives the rest to her son and daughter. Describe 2 different ways her son and daughter can share the rest of the apple if they each have some of the apple. Okay, so the whole apple is 8/8. She cuts it into 8 pieces, but then she eats 3/8 of it. So we need to subtract 3/8 from that apple. So what's left that she's going to give to her son and daughter is 5/8. Okay, so that's what they have to share. So you just have to describe 2 different ways that you can show 5/8. So what are 2 different ways that you can decompose 5/8? Okay, so way number 1, way number 2. Maybe the son gets 2/8 and the daughter gets 3/8. That would equal the 5/8 of the apple left. So you could have described it like that. Maybe the son gets 4/8 and the daughter gets just 1/8. That would still equal 5/8. Okay, so you just had to show 2 different ways to decompose 5/8. And it does say describe, so really probably should have used words and stuff, but if you just did the equations, that's fine too. Give yourself 2 stars if you described 2 different ways. If you only did one way, you get 1 star. If you did 0 ways, 0 stars. Okay, counting stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, including the example. So up here, where there's like a little bit of space, do out of 18 stars and then a plus up there. So it's like a fraction, but it's how many you got correct over how many were total. Okay, so if you got all 18 out of 18, you'd put an 18 up here. If you just got 15, put a 15. If you got 5, put a 5. Whatever you got, put your total here. If you want to comment on the bottom of this video and tell me how many stars you got, that would be awesome. I would love to know. Usually in my class, we do like a hand raising thing, like who got 10 or more stars, raise your hand. Who got 12 or more, who got 13 or more, and then, you know, we go up until we see who's got the most. So hopefully you guys enjoyed adding and subtracting fractions in this lesson. I enjoy it. I think it's a fun fraction skill. Soon we get into, you know, adding harder fractions and then multiplying fractions, which still is not terrible. So I will see you guys for lesson 21. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.